Hello, and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name is John Ainsworth, and today's guest is Stu McLaren. Stu is a former co-founder of the world's leading membership platform for WordPress, Wishlist Member, and now creator of the membership experience. He helps experts transform their knowledge and influence into recurring revenue by launching, growing, and scaling 7- and 8-figure membership sites. Today, we're going to be talking about memberships versus courses, creating tailored content, using AI in your business, and effective onboarding. Stu, welcome to the show.
John, great to be here, buddy. Thanks so much.
So hit us off first. We talk a lot generally about courses, and people sometimes come to us and say, oh, I've got a membership, not courses. Like, maybe do I need to swap? And maybe I've got courses and I want to swap to memberships. What would you say to people who are thinking about this kind of dichotomy as to which one they should go with?
I'd say shut the front door. It is not a course or membership. Every business should have both. And here's why. With a course, we are going deep in serving people around a very particular topic. And we go deep in that topic in a very short period of time. But the fact of the matter is, anybody listening and watching the show right now, they know that there is very few people in this world who will be able to not only consume all of the course content, but to master all of the course content during the period of the course. So inevitably, people are going to need support and help and guidance in implementing the course material. That's where a membership becomes the next best friend for anybody who has come through a course. And this is why, with all of the tens of thousands of people that we get to serve in all kinds of different markets, people who already have courses, and as their people come through the course, they are now ready for a membership to get that ongoing support and guidance. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, Nicholas Wilton, who's in our community, he's an artist, and he has a course teaching people how to produce beautiful, fine art. It's a pretty lengthy course, in fact. It's like 12 weeks long. But he called me when he was on week 10, and he said, Stu, I'm kind of in a bit of a panic here. And I said, well, what's the problem? He said, well, I'm in the midst of delivering my course. We're getting toward the end, and people are starting to panic because they know that the course is coming to an end. And they're asking well, where am I going to go for support? Oh, what if I got questions? How am I going to do this? Oh, is the group shut down? People are just kind of getting all frenzied and freaking out. And he said, I know I need a membership, but I don't have time to launch the membership. So at that point, I walked him through doing what we call a founding member launch. That's a conversation we can probably unpack on another episode. But the short version is, it meant he could launch the membership before having anything created. He went to his group and the final week, and he said, I've been getting a lot of questions like this: screenshot, 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 showing all the messages that they've been getting about what's going to happen. Is the group going to stay? What are we still going to have access? What do I do if I got questions? All that kind of stuff. And he said, and I've been listening, and it got me thinking. What if we had a way to stay connected? Is that something that you would like? And everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. And what if we had a way in which you could continue to get questions answered? Is that something that you would like? Yes, of course, of course. And what if? And he kept, suggesting these different ideas, and people were in. And he said, okay, well, I don't have a membership or this community created yet. This is an idea that's been bubbling up from your suggestions and questions. But what I am going to ask is, if you'd like to join as a founding member, you can do that right now. We will launch this in the next month, and when we do, the price will go up. But if you join now, you become a founding member, and your price will be the lowest it will ever be. And then you'll be able to not only join the community, but because you'll be one of the founding members, you'll have tremendous influence in the way we shape this community moving forward. Well, long story short, John, he had over 80% of the people going through the course join him for the membership. Now, time out. As a business owner, what does that mean? Well, that means that, yes, he got paid one time from the people who paid him to join the course, but now he's getting paid recurring every single month from all those people. So here's why it's not an either or scenario. Because if you've got a course, a membership is 100% the next best thing that you could offer your people because they want more of you. They want that ongoing support. There's no way in which they have mastered all the material in your course just by going through it one time. And this allows them to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And your people are going to experience more progress than ever before because they got an amazing foundation from you in the course. And now they continue to deepen that level of mastery in the membership. They go hand in hand. And so from a business owner's perspective, it's great because the course provides great cash flow up front. And the membership provides tremendous stability ongoing because of the recurring revenue. And this, my friend, is why it's not an either or scenario. It's a and scenario. You should have both of them, a course and a membership. And similarly, if you got a membership, there are always going to be people who want to go deeper and faster. And that's why offering specialized courses that people can take is a great complement to anybody who's got a membership. A perfect example of that is a woman in our community. Her name's Lisa Kay. She's one of the foremost experts on developing your intuition to be able to make better decision-making in your business, in your relationships, in your health, etc. Well, she has a membership and it's responsible for more than 30% of her overall revenue. But she also has courses that she offers her members that specialize in particular areas. So for those members who want to go deeper or develop a particular level of mastery in a particular area, they can because she offers these back-end courses. So they go hand in hand together. It's not a, should I do one or the other? It's a, you should do both.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this part out of the podcast episode. I'm just going to send it to everybody every time I ever get this question.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think too, like we get our knickers in a twist thinking, oh, what do I do? Like, do I do the course first or do I do the membership first? It doesn't matter. Do whatever one is going to be easiest for you to take action on right now. But the bottom line is long-term strategy should be, you should have both, and they should be intertwined in the way in which you speak about, each of them. Like we have a course that teaches people how to launch, grow, and scale a highly profitable membership. It's based on my literally decades. I've been helping people do this very thing since 2008. So that's what the course is about. And it's a short period of time. It's a 10-week course. We go deep and people launch their memberships during that time. But inevitably, like this, launching a membership is just the beginning. This is a whole business. And so we teach people how to master that and continue to up-level the way in which they grow their membership in our back-end membership. So the course is the front end, the membership is the back end.
Yeah, and we've got exactly the same model. We have a course that people can get individually, but nearly everybody who works with us is in the ongoing membership. Like we have a system where we charge people a percentage of the increase in revenue that they get. They don't pay us anything up front for it. It's just like every month you need to do more work on, our model is around email marketing and how do you send out promotions in order to promote your course or your membership. It's like, well, every month you've got to send out another promotion. So every month you need help with writing it. Every month you want to improve and refine your sales pages and what have you. So having ongoing support really fits. But if someone just wants to get the course and go through on their own, it's like, yeah, sure, totally, so.
Well, it reminds me a lot, like I always get asked a question too about, well, Stu, don't you ever get concerned about, how much free information is available online? And in a very similar way, I'm like, no, I'm not concerned about it at all. Because look, at the end of the day, people can go to YouTube and they can watch all kinds of videos. Now they could do a search on ChatGPT and get a step-by-step formula for X, Y, Z, you know what I mean? But the reality of it is like knowing what to do and how to do it is only part of the equation. Like I could watch videos all day long about becoming an elite swimmer. But does that mean that I've mastered the skill of swimming? No, I don't master it until I actually get in the pool. I don't master it until I have a coach telling me, no, Stu, your stroke is off there. No, Stu, lower your butt here. No, Stu, head down. Like until I have somebody guiding me through the implementation of it, I'm never going to master those skills. That's what a membership provides. It provides that ongoing guidance, that ongoing support, and that level of mastery that you're talking about that only comes with time and practice and guidance and support. And that's why memberships are such a beautiful complement to any course.
Beautiful. All right. There's a bunch of trends. There's 5 trends that you've identified. I wondered if you could talk us through them today. 5 course and membership trends that people shouldn't ignore. What's number 1 there?
Well, first and foremost, research studies show that if you create a great experience in the first 30 days for people where they feel like they're having a great experience, it will on average triple the lifetime value of that customer. Now you got to remember, I'm coming at it from a membership standpoint, but the principles in memberships apply just as powerfully to those with courses. Now, what I mean by that is trend number one is you got to have an effective onboarding. So the onboarding are the steps that you walk people through the moment that they press buy. Their credit card has gone through and it goes through the checkout page. And then it says, comes to the thank you page. It says, okay, your order is complete. And that begins the onboarding process. And if you haven't systematically thought through what that is designed to do, chances are you're going to put yourself behind the 8 ball. So there's a few things that we want to make sure that we do right from the get-go as far as our onboarding. Overall, from a high-level perspective, we want to do 3 things. Number one, we want people to feel connected to you and to what they are there to do. Like, why did they sign up for your course? They're there for some kind of an outcome. They're there for some kind of a result, and we want them connecting to that in a bigger, better way. So what that looks like is after somebody buys, there's a thank you page video. And in that video, there's no other links to anywhere else. Like, we have to control the experience. They can't get distracted by jumping into a forum. They can't get distracted by watching lessons and all the things. It's just a video. And the video just walks people through. It says, 1, thank you, and confirm and affirms they're in the right place. You're here because you have a desire to X, Y, Z, right? Improve your relationships, improve your skills in this area, learn how to paint, whatever it is. Like, we're talking about the final outcome, and we want to affirm that they're in the right place. Then we want to talk about like what this journey is going to look like. And it's not going to be watch a lesson and then you're instantly going to get a result. Like, we want to set the stage for that. This is a journey, but we're there to support them and we're there to help them. We're there to guide them. And this is based on a proven set of formulas, a proven set of tactics, a proven set of strategies, et cetera, et cetera. So we want that thank you video to really connect with them. We want to affirm that they're in the right place. And we want to set the stage for the experience that they're about to have. Then the second thing that we really want to do is we want them as quickly as possible engaging within your community, either engaging with you or engaging with somebody else in the community. And I'll just share a little example story to demonstrate why this is so important. So 2 years ago, John, my family and I, we moved to a completely new area. And that meant that my kids were going to a completely new school. Now, at the time, my daughter was 9 and my son was 6. So they're at that like super impressionable age, right? Like, they're a little bit nervous, well, a lot nervous. They're anxious. They don't know anybody. And my daughter, she's 9. So she was like self-conscious about everything. Like, oh my gosh, like, are the girls going to like me? Am I going to fit in? Like, all the things, right? First day school outfits were like, primo, there's a lot of stress around that. But anyway, so my wife and I, we walked the kids to school. And in the back of our minds, we're just like, please just let this be a great day. Like, let them just like feel settled. Let them, feel comfortable. So we get them there, we say goodbye, they walk in with their class, and we're just like, okay, fingers crossed, it's going to be a good day. We come back and, my wife and I are like kind of looking for the kids as all the kids are running out of the school, and we see my daughter first. And she comes running out. She's got a huge smile on her face. And I was like, oh, I said to her, Marla, I'm like, how was your day? She's like, Dad, this is the best school ever. I'm like, best school ever? I'm like, tell me why. She's like, okay, Dad, well, you know how like Sam and I used to go to a Montessori school? I said, yeah. She said, there's another girl in my class that she used to go to a Montessori school too. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You got that in common. She's like, yeah, but Dad, it gets better. You know how I love horses? I said, yeah. She's like, there's a girl in my class that loves horses too. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, does she ride? She's like, yeah. And she's like, Dad, it gets even better. You know the new stable that I'm riding at? I said, yeah. She's like, her mom owns the stable. I'm like, oh. I'm like, what are the chances of that? She's like, Dad, this is the best school ever. Time out. Her whole framing of this being the best school ever was because she made one significant and meaningful connection. Now, the same is true inside of our communities, inside of our courses, inside of our memberships. If we can help our customers and our members form one meaningful connection, it can help frame up the entire experience in a positive way. So what does that mean practically? Well, it means that if you have a community component, chances are the thread of introduce yourself is going to be one of the most popular threads of your community. But one of the worst things that you can do is say, hey, go on into the community and introduce yourself. Because an introvert is going to be like, I don't know what to say. And none of us want to go in and say, hey, my name's Stu McLaren. Let me tell you why I'm awesome. I'm awesome because of this, this, and this. And I'm even more awesome because I've done all these things, right? Like nobody wants to say or do that. So the way you set your people up for success is you give them 2 or 3 questions to answer. And in those questions, you want to find connection points, points of connection that member is going to have in common with other members. Because then when they say, oh, like John, before we jumped on, you asked, whereabouts am I? I said, I'm just outside of Toronto, Ontario. I said, whereabouts are you? You said London. And I said, whereabouts in London? You said Hemsworth. I said, oh, that's amazing. I said, because I was born in England, just outside of London, south of London, in Gravesend, Kent. And boom, there's a connection. And that connection point is that we're both from the UK. I was born in the UK. You live there now. That's a point of connection. That's what we're trying to help our people find with each other, because now they feel settled. Now they start forming relationships, and that works as glue. So we want people to engage with each other. And then the last piece is that we want them to consume content as quickly as possible. Now, we'll talk maybe a little bit later about what that looks like in some of the other trends. But what we want to do is we want to design our content so that it is bite-sized. Long pieces of content take people a long time to get through, and it slows people down. The best way to structure your content is to have bite-sized 5, 10 minutes, 15-minute max lessons, so that people can start ripping through and start feeling a sense of momentum, like they are working towards something, like they are accomplishing something. And that creates confidence, and that confidence is going to see them through any lessons that may require more thinking or more time or more implementation. So it's really, really important that we design that onboarding experience, number one, to connect with people, and that's through our thank you video and being intentional about what we're saying in a thank you video, so that we affirm they're in the right place, we cast the vision for where this is going, and we give them clear next steps. Number 2 is that we help them engage with other members. Remember, one meaningful connection can make all the difference. And number 3, we get them consuming content as quickly as possible that's in line with the direction that they're going. So that's the first trend, is effective onboarding.
It's funny, I'd been making notes on the way through that so I could do a recap at the end, and you're just like, I got this. Very good presenting skills. Nice.
That's my style. I learned that from the great Charlie Tremendous Jones.
Yeah.
He was an amazing speaker. He's no longer with us now, unfortunately, but he used to say, tell him what you're going to tell him, and then tell him what you told him. So yeah, it's always a great way. But that's the first point, is the effective onboarding. Super important.
Nice. Yeah, I used to read a lot of stuff. I used to do door-to-door sales, and I'd read stuff from Charlie Tremendous Jones every morning. It was very...
He was great. I had the pleasure of being able to see him speak in person twice. Nice. And he was just as great in person as he was, on any videos or any books, and he was amazing.
Beautiful. All right, so we've had number 1. Number 2, talk us through what's the second trend.
Okay, so this is something that we really developed within our communities that enabled us to begin helping provide clarity for our people inside of any membership, and the same principles apply inside of a course. Number 2 is clear vision. Now, here's what I mean by that. We developed a tool called the Success Path. And John, if we just think about it real simply, it's that, when people are coming into a course or a membership, they're there for a purpose of learning something, either like learning a skill, like I want to become a great artist, or I want to learn how to grow my business, or I want to learn how to do email marketing more effectively. Like they're looking to learn a skill, Or number two, they're looking to solve an ongoing problem. Like, I've got a terrible relationship with my spouse and I want it to be an amazing relationship. Or I've got a puppy that's wildly out of control and I want the perfect puppy that's going to be obedient and is going to listen and is going to be a great companion. So they're there to either solve an ongoing problem or develop a skill. Well, we don't go from not knowing how to paint to becoming the next Picasso like that. We don't go from not knowing how to play the guitar to becoming the next Eric Clapton like that. We don't go from a puppy that's wildly out of control to the perfect puppy like that. There is a journey to learning and developing that kind of progress. So what we want to do is we want to cast the vision for people of what that journey looks like by developing what we call a success path. And the easy way to think about it is if you're looking at a piece of paper right in front of you, on the left-hand side, you draw a line straight down. On the right-hand side, you draw a line straight down and you connect the two. Then think of this as a timeline of going from, the starting point all the way to the final outcome. And then there are stages or steps in between. So for example, if somebody is learning about growing a membership, as in my world, well, you're not going to go from no audience and no membership to having a thriving membership like that. There are different stages that you're going to go through. One, you're going to build your base, is what we call it, which is getting clear on like who you serve, what problems they have, and how you are going to help. Then number two stage is going to be building your audience, right? So you got to have people to be able to speak to and to attract. Then you're going to build your membership, then build your launch, and then build your business. And so there are different stages that people go through. And at each stage, people are going to have a different focus. So there's no point in people focusing on how to build a team if they haven't even gotten clear on who they serve. So what this does is it gives clarity for people in terms of where they should put their focus. So when they come into a course or when they come into a membership, they can relieve themselves of the pressure that they got to learn all the things right now. Instead, it's just like, forget 99% of the things. You're here in this journey. Just focus on these few things right now. And that is like a huge weight lifted from people's shoulders, because now they don't have all that pressure. And now they can just focus on the few things that really matter for where they're at in this journey. And guess what happens, John? They start making way more progress because they're clear that this is part of a bigger journey. If they just focus on these few things, it'll lead to these. If they just focus on these few things, it'll lead to that and lead to that and lead to that. And before they know it, now they're at the final outcome. So what we want to do is we want to break that journey down for people into a success path. And real simple, a success path will never have any fewer than 3 stages and never any more than 7. The sweet spot is 5. And think of it as your starting point, your final outcome, and the stages in between. And when you can describe for people the difference between each of those stages and what people are thinking, what they're feeling, what they're doing at each stage, and also what the focus of that person at each of those stages should be, now you give people tremendous clarity around where to focus their energy. And when you do that, people are going to experience so much progress. But you contrast that to the way in which most courses and memberships are set up that don't follow what we teach. It's they come in and it's just like, here's a whole big library of stuff. Have at it. We got more trainings over here, more trainings over there. And oh my gosh, we got a whole library. There's hundreds, even thousands of videos. And people come in and they're just like, duh! Like, they freeze. They have no idea where to go, what to do. And it is overwhelming. It's discouraging. And then people hit the exit button. They're out. They either quit or they cancel or they refund. So what we want to do, we want to relieve people of that pressure. We want to give them the clarity of what the journey looks like. And we want them the clarity of knowing where they are in this journey and where they need to put their focus. Everything else doesn't matter. And that will set people up for success. So when we think about having a clear vision, it's about creating a success path. It has a starting point, the final outcome, and the stages in between. And those stages, we don't want any fewer than 3, no more than 7. Sweet spot is 5. And you break those stages down by thinking about what are people at each stage thinking, feeling, and doing, and what's their focus. And how you measure their progress is by creating milestones. We want to have a measuring stick that allows people to know they are making progress in this overall journey. So each success path will have stages, they'll have milestones, and they'll have action items. And that's the thing that's going to guide people in terms of being able to know exactly what to do to experience the most amount of progress in the shortest amount of time.
I started learning the bass about 2-3 months ago, something like that. And I signed up to scottsbasslessons.com. And in there are dozens of individual courses that you can take. And I was like, well, I have no idea. How on earth would I know where to go? And they said, or you can go through this learning pathway and we're going to give you the first course to go. I was like, oh, thank God. It's like, I can't go and figure out which of these courses is right for me. Like, great that you've got it. You know, if someone's like, right, what I really need to focus on is like the fingering, or I really need to focus on, I want to learn, like, how do I use 3 fingers for a strumming here, you know? But it's like, you tell me, what am I supposed to go through here? So 100% see how this would make a massive difference for people as they go through. So you've got the things that you're identifying about people there. So what it is that they need to learn, what they need to do, what they're going to feel. What are you doing with that information? What happens with that?
Well, that really brings us to trend number 3, which I believe, John, is probably the most important right now. And the reason being is trend number 3 is called tailored content. And I'll just throw it back to you, John. We'll have a little bit of back and forth here for a minute. So do you have a Netflix account?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my guess is that when you log into your Netflix account, you're going to see totally different shows than if I were to log into my Netflix account versus if we were to log into my kid's Netflix account, right?
Sure.
So what's happening there is the same thing that's happening on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you'll probably see different suggested videos that are going to show up than if I went. And the same is true if we went to Amazon. Same is true as if we logged into the Peloton. Shout out to all the Peloton riders. I'm a huge Peloton fan. But the bottom line is that the experience is different for each and every person. So what's actually happening here? Well, these platforms are serving tailored content to each of their audience members that are viewing their content. Now, contrast that experience to 99.9999% of all course and membership site experiences, which is a one-size-fits-all experience. Doesn't matter whether you are in the beginning stages of that journey or maybe you're a more advanced bass player. Everybody is going to have the same experience because they're treating all members the exact same. And I'm here to tell you that that is no longer going to serve your members at the highest level. Number one, expectations are changing because of all the different platforms that we just talked about, where we're used to companies catering the content around our interests, around our needs, what we're consuming, etc. And when that doesn't happen, it subconsciously, it feels a little weird. But just think of the experience from yourself, John. You're a new bass player. You come into the site, and imagine if you come in and all you see are advanced lessons. How are you going to feel?
Oh, like dirt. Just like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing here. This is ridiculous. I'm no good, you know, straight away.
Yeah, and you're going to get discouraged. You're going to get overwhelmed, and you're going to bounce. Now, similarly, let's pretend advanced bass player comes in, and all they see are basic lessons. How are they going to feel?
It's a waste of time. I shouldn't even be here. Like, this is pointless. I can do all this stuff.
Exactly. And this is my whole point in why tailored content is so critical moving forward, because every course owner and every membership site owner are losing people right now because of the experience that we just talked about, because we're treating everybody the same, but everybody is not the same. And so here's how you change this up. With tailored content, when people come and join your site, one of the onboarding elements is a little survey. We ask a variety of different questions. And based on their answers, we're learning where are they in this success path. And then once we learn where they are, in your case with the bass, we'd say, oh, John, looks like you're in the beginning stages of learning the bass guitar. Amazing. Here are some suggested lessons or a suggested pathway tailored for you. Now you're going to be like, oh, like you said earlier, thank God. I don't have to think. I don't have to like figure out like what I got to watch or what I got to listen or what my pathway should be or in what order. Like they're just being served up for you. And that's my point. We should be doing that for everybody, no matter what stage they are at in their journey. And so, we have a software that we've developed called Searchy.io, and this is our own platform. And the reason that we developed it was because we saw a massive gap in the marketplace, the gap between what should be done and what could be done. And the reality of it is that what could be done with all the other platforms wasn't possible in terms of creating this tailored experience. So ultimately, it led us to creating our own platform, which now, based on that onboarding, we can learn, okay, what stage they're at. And now we can start serving content from our library that is tailored to that particular person. So if we identify, hey, this person, like you, John, is in the beginning stages, we're going to show beginner lessons. And that can evolve over time with AI based on what we are learning about that person, what they're watching, what they're learning, what they're consuming, what they're searching for, what they're progressing through, what they have mastered, perhaps like with internal tests and so forth. So we can change the experience based on what their experience is evolving into. And then similarly, we can do that for every single member. So no one member is going to have the exact same experience. And that's the way it should be if we are really committed to helping our people experience the most amount of progress in the shortest amount of time. So when we talk about effective onboarding, we talk about clear vision, and we talk about tailored content, they all fit so perfectly together and support one another, because as part of that onboarding experience, we're going to survey and ask them questions. And from that, we're going to learn, where are they in that journey? Where are they on that success path? And then based on that, we're now going to serve content that is specific to their needs right now. And what that's going to do is it's going to drive more consumption. It's going to create more momentum, and people in our courses and our memberships are going to experience far more success. So trend number 3 is tailored content and really individualizing that experience for each of your members.
Beautiful. So Searchy.io, how do you spell it?
Search SEARCHIE.io. Searchy.io.
And does that work with the platform someone's already got, or is that like a whole membership hosting software that people can use?
Both. So you can embed our video player. There's many other aspects to it. You can embed our video player in other platforms, but ideally, if you're wanting to create this holistic experience, it's just best to use the whole platform. And this is why we have a whole variety of high-level people who are moving over from Kajabi or from different WordPress platforms, etc., over to Searchy, not only for being able to create that tailored experience, but there's a whole plethora of other reasons why they're moving over. Because at the end of the day, like, this is a world that we have lived in since 2008. We know exactly how to create an amazing experience that helps your people get results, number one. But number two, we're also content creators ourselves. So we're constantly looking for ways in which we can be more efficient, produce more effectively, and make use of not only our own time, but our team's time. And so there's a whole bunch of different ways in which we do that with the content that gets uploaded to Searchy.
Beautiful. Okay, so that takes us on to trend number 4 then. So what is it? What's the next lesson for everybody?
Well, Searchy was actually born because of this one challenge that we had in our business. And I guarantee everybody listening and watching has experienced this before, which is, if you have a course or you have a membership, chances are you have been asked the same question over and over and over again. It doesn't matter what you teach. It doesn't matter how many times people come through. You've likely experienced the same set of questions that people have over and over and over again. Now, I've been teaching our flagship program since 2016. And in this program called the Membership Experience, we teach people how to launch, grow, and scale their memberships. And I get asked questions all the time. And every time, John, I put on like that, no problem. I'm going to answer the same question with as much enthusiasm as the first time I ever answered it. But this one time, I must have been in a bit of a grumpy mood because I finished a Q&A and I came off of it and I said to my team, I'm like, guys, 80% of those questions I know I have answered before. And our team said, yeah, you 100% have. I'm like, well, why can't we just give them my past answers? And they said, sure, Stu, it's over on a hard drive over there. Figure out where in all of those videos you were answering that one question. And I'm like, I get it. That's why we would just answer it again, right? Because it's just easier to answer it again versus trying to scrub through all the videos and try to find a moment in the video where I was answering that question. But then somebody on our team said, wouldn't it be amazing if we could just search inside of the videos? Meaning not search by the title, not search by the description, but search by what was being said in the video, and then be brought to the moment in the video where you were saying that very thing. And I was like, that would be amazing. Well, this is where I'm super grateful because I have an amazing team. And they went to work and they created this super beta version of what essentially became our own search engine for our content. Now, in the beginning, John, we called it Mr. Searchy because it was just this little joke, but it ended up becoming a very useful tool because what we ended up doing was partway through our course, we showcased this, quote, search engine for our content. And the way it worked was people could go to almost like a Google setup, type in their question, and it would bring up all of our past videos, all the past Q&As. And it would take people to the moment in the video where I was speaking about the very thing that they were searching for. Now, instantly, overnight, we went from hundreds of questions to less than 10. So much so that it freaked Shauna on our team, who's our lead support, freaked her out. She's like, something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. Something's wrong. We used to get hundreds of questions. We're now getting less than 10. And what we realized was, no, nothing was wrong. Everything was right. The fourth trend is called real-time support. And effectively what we did was we gave people the ability to be able to find the answers to their questions faster and easier than ever before. And it leveraged all of the past content that we have created, all of the past Q&As that I have answered, where effectively we made this library of content a huge asset versus it just collecting digital dust on a hard drive. And so learning how to provide real-time support is really important within your community. Now, we do it with search, using Searchy right within our membership and our course areas. And I will just share with you that this is where AI and ChatGPT is a huge resource for people. And I would just encourage people to think through, how can you leverage that within your courses and within your memberships to help your people get the answers they need better, faster, easier? I will say there's some very exciting developments coming on the Searchy side that will help you leverage your library even more using AI. But bottom line, the fourth trend is real-time support because people want their answers. They want them faster than ever before. And yes, they can send a message into your team, but there's always going to be a lag between when they send it in and when they get the response back. And that requires resources, right? And imagine a world in which they don't have to wait on your team to get the answers they want. And fun fact, it saves you a ton of support. You don't have to hire a whole lot of people to serve thousands when you learn to create real-time support. So that's the fourth trend, is real-time support.
Beautiful. Nice. Well, that sounds like a really exciting progression. I know a lot of people, when they start out, they're doing all the customer support themselves, which is painful. you know.
Yeah, 100% is. This is, I mean, at the end of the day, like you create assets in your business, right? Like with questions that you're answering, with content you're creating, those are assets. And the more you can leverage them and use them, the easier it becomes for you in being able to serve your people at the highest level.
Nice. Yeah, I remember hearing from Sam Ovens that he'd done something not as nearly as advanced as this, but he'd basically gone through every time he'd answered a question and they'd labeled it, and then you could search through their system to find all of the answers they're given, so that you could just go get the answer straight away. And when I heard about that, I thought that's clever. So what we did is every time we have a support call, we cut up any of the answers that we think are likely to come up again. We send them off to the video editor, and the video editor cuts them up, and then they put them into as an answer to the question in our membership area. It sounds like what you've done here is you've taken all of the legwork that we were doing there in terms of like, okay, we have to identify it. Somebody has to go through and cut it. You have to download it, edit it, upload it again, label it. It's like just removed all of that and made it much smoother.
Here's how this works, John. This will blow you away. Like we're recording this now. We're using Zoom to record it. Imagine the moment that we finish this, the recording is sent to Searchy. Instantly, it's transcribed, it's captioned, and now it's completely searchable. And if you set it up, you could set it up one time. So this video is automatically added to your members area. So this now becomes a tremendously efficient way to be able to get your people the content in a way in which they can consume and search and do all the things without it requiring any of that legwork behind the scenes. Because we were doing the same thing. Like, our team would go through and they'd, listen to it and earmark, like when I was answering a question, they add to a spreadsheet. It was like a whole thing. But now literally we finish the Zoom because of the integration. It's sent to Searchy, transcribed, it's captioned, now completely searchable and automatically added to the members area without our team having to do anything. And that's the case for Zoom. It's the case for Facebook Lives. Same thing. It would be sent to Searchy automatically, added to a members area. Same for podcasts. So imagine every time you publish a podcast, it automatically gets added to a members area, and you could use that as a way to list build. This is the power of using a tool that is not only creates a better experience for your people, but also allows you to be more effective and efficient in the way in which you serve your people. And that's why real-time support is really important, because it gives us a way to be able to help our people get the answers they need better, easier, and faster, while saving us a whole lot of time, energy, and effort.
Beautiful. All right, so this brings us on to trend number 5. What's the last one?
The last one is trackable progress. And this one is really easy to understand in the sense that most course creators and membership site owners are flying blind. They have no idea what's actually going on inside of their membership, meaning how much content members are consuming, what they're not consuming, what they're searching for, what they're finding difficult, and all the rest. And so the 5th trend is trackable progress. And that is, we've got to learn what is actually happening inside of our courses and memberships, because it's going to inform future content that we create and ways in which we can support people. So if we see that, we've got a 5-lesson course and people aren't getting past lesson number 2, that should be a red flag, because that means that people aren't getting to the finish line. They're not getting the result. If they don't get the result, then that's going to ultimately impact us long-term. Because when people ask, what'd you think of the course? And I say, it was too overwhelming. I didn't even get past lesson number 2. Well, that sucks. In contrast to the experience of, how'd you think about the course? It was amazing. This was the first course that I actually got all the way through. Number 1. Number 2, it was incredible because I actually got the result that was promised. Now, what does that do from a marketing perspective? Now you've got all these incredible stories of progress, and that fuels your marketing. And so it's really important that we track what's happening inside of our courses and memberships. And then we use that data to then inform our decision-making about the experience we create and the way in which we show up and serve. So for me, trend number 5 is trackable progress, and having that visibility of what's going on inside of your course and inside of your membership. Beautiful.
Now, if somebody wants to learn more about the membership experience and how you can help them more than just the podcast today, what's the next step? What can people do?
Well, definitely go to, there's two places. The first place is membershipworkshop.com, membershipworkshop.com. Every year we host a free workshop, and then that leads to our paid program called the Membership Experience, where we hold your hand and we guide you through the process of launching and growing your membership during that 10-week program. And I've never been more proud, John. We literally have tens of thousands of students who have gone through this program. And for me, I get lit up by the stories of people like Jennifer Chamberlain, as an example. So she's a 50-something mom who didn't have any interest whatsoever in starting a business. That was not her focus. She just loved art, and she just loved sharing art with other women her age. So she came through the membership experience, and she did a founding member launch. And she welcomed 20 founding members, which was amazing, right? 20. She didn't have a big audience. She had like this little audience on Facebook group on. And so that 20 founding members is what she started with. By the end of that first year, she had grown that to 100 members. By the end of year 2, she had grown that to 200 members. And then in year 3, John, she hit that inflection point because everything at that point, just lined up. She had gotten her ducks in a row as far as marketing and so forth. And she went from 200 members to more than 2,000 members. This was now a 7-figure membership. And so she had never had the vision of a 7-figure membership, but it started with a founding member launch. It started with getting clear about how to craft a membership that would get people interested and get people coming back and get people staying month after month after month. And we have thousands of stories of people in all kinds of markets, from photography and calligraphy to fitness and finance and music and art and health and dog training. Heck, we even have a woman, her name's Holly George, who created a membership with thousands of members, teaching them how to make balloon animals, for crying out loud. Like, bottom line is that I love teaching this because I love showing business owners how to create stability in their business with memberships. And so our workshop, which you can find again at membershipworkshop.com, is the best place to come and join us. And then I'll also give another free gift for everybody. We have a guide that we put together based on the top 10 questions I get asked about starting a membership site. And you can get that for free when you go to themembershipguide.com. And what I do is I answer each of those questions in detail. Then we also provide a whole bunch of examples and case studies and stories so that people can see how what I'm sharing is being put into practice. And so it'll really get the creative juices flowing. It'll clear up a lot of confusion that people often have when it comes to starting a membership site, and really set the foundation. And you can get that again at themembershipguide.com.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for coming on today and sharing your wisdom with everybody. Really appreciate you taking the time. If you're listening and you found this useful, please do go and check out membershipworkshop.com and the membershipguide.com. And if you want to hear more episodes like this, then hit subscribe. Thanks so much, everybody. And thanks so much, Stu, for coming on.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, John.